Hey, it's Adam with yet another What's New in MixEffect. Today we're going to talk about MixEffect 1.2.3, which is a follow-up to the OSC Action Extravaganza 1.2.2 release. I'm calling this one the OSC Action Parade because I've added a ton of new OSC actions and made some changes that you need to be aware of. So without further ado, let's get started. Some of the new features in this release include a new addition to streaming. So there's a low latency toggle that you can set within the switcher. It's actually not available within the ATEM software control interface, but third party can kind of tell the switcher to do this and basically tells the switcher to drop video frames if there's problems detected with the network speed. So you may want to try using this in one of your streams if you do have problems, so it prevents the stream from stopping altogether. Give that a shot and let me know how it works in the comments. Some bug fixes with iOS 15. So if you have upgraded to iOS 15, you may have noticed that you couldn't upload photos from the media section. That has now been fixed. If you tap the plus button, iOS will pop up its screen to ask you for permission to access the photo library. You give it access and then you'll be able to upload images from your photo library over to the switcher. Okay, let's get started. With OSC, there's complete documentation at mixeffect.app/docs/OSC. I've documented all the actions and I've also updated the sample configuration files for Companion so that you can test some of the things that I'm going to show you today. Let's cover over some bug fixes. Some minor things, with parameters not being handled properly, max sizes for DVE size, and now you can set the Luma key correctly and the border status you can toggle. Those were broken in the 1.2.2 release. Okay, very important, implementation changes. I have split up the adjust action into separate adjust and set actions for these actions. So GSK clip and gain, before you could set it, you can put in a string +1 or -1, or if you didn't put a string, you just put a value and it would set it. If you put +1 or -1, it would adjust it up and down. So I've separated that because some of the actions could take a negative value. So that would confuse MixEffect because a negative value, what would it do? Would it set it negative or would it decrement it? In the case of 1.2.2, it would decrement the value. But now by having them as separate actions, you can set a value as negative using the set command, or if you use the adjust command, you can make it move up and down. And I'll show you an example of that later here. But keep in mind that if you've used these functions in your Stream Deck and Companion, make sure you take a look at them because you may have to change them. So new actions, there's over 40 new actions within the following categories. So there's color generators, DSK, Fairlight audio, transition DVE, transition wipe, supersource art, supersource box, chroma, advanced, DVE for the upstream keyer, Luma, mask, and pattern. So we're going to cover these really quickly. The color generators. So now you can adjust the parameters of each color separately. So from the hue, saturation, and Luma. So let's give a quick demonstration. Okay, so I've switched over to my color generators. It's on page 32 here. And we can see here, I can set the colors to black, red, orange, purple, and whatnot. But what's good is that I have the color parameter adjust. So I can adjust the hue by just hitting this plus button and you can see the color changing, the hue changing. If I want to take the saturation down, I can just hit this bottom and you can see that the saturation is changing. If I would change the Luma like this, if I make it minus, you can do this. So now you can do very fine controls using your Stream Deck. So with the downstream keyer, I've added OSC actions to finally change the clip and key parameters, as well as setting the individual top, right, bottom, and left parameters for the mask. So with Fairlight audio, I've updated the adjust commands. I've also added the set commands, and I've added the Fairlight master gain. You can set and adjust that using the plus and minus buttons there. With transition DVE, again, with the pre-multiply key, you can set the clip and the gain for the DVE. For the transition wipe, I've added parameters where you can adjust basically all the border attributes. So if we take a look at transition, let's go to wipe and let's show my iPad here. So with transition wipe, you can now adjust the border softness up and down, the width up and down, the position up and down, and symmetry values up and down very easily now within Companion. With SuperSource, I've added a bunch more things here. So within the art, the aforementioned pre-multiplied, you can adjust the clip and gain up and down. If your switcher supports border, you can also enable all the border attributes. So like the width, the softness, and the color of that. So definitely check that out. The chroma, let's take a look at that. There's a parameter adjust where you can adjust the foreground and background. And then the key edge, spill suppression, and flare suppression, brightness, contrast, saturation, red, green, blue. So you can just use your Stream Deck to just adjust those values plus, 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 or minus, minus, minus. With the DVE, we can adjust the border parameters, the mask and the position, the rotation, shadow parameters, and the size all individually. So now you can finely tune your DVE just from your Stream Deck. Luma just has the pre-multiply key, so clip and gain. And the mask, you can adjust the mask finely using the parameter. I split those parameters up. And finally, we have the pattern. So now you can cycle through your patterns for the upstream keyer. You can adjust the position and the size, the softness, and symmetry. So what this release is basically giving you very fine-tuned control over these parameters within your switcher, within all the upstream keyers, the downstream keyers, and the transitions. So you really can control your entire switcher now from a Stream Deck and tinker with all the parameters. You don't have to go into ATEM software control, and you don't even have to go into MixEffect. I give you the option to do that within MixEffect 1.2.3. A quick update on the companion module. So Johnny SCS is still working on it. I've been adding all these actions, so he has to kind of update his companion module to support these new things. And he should be done very soon. So you'll be able to use his companion module to control MixEffect via OSC. And that's actually better because it has drop-down menus and sliders, and it's just easier to use than kind of looking at the documentation, trying to figure out the generic OSC path and all the order of the parameters. He does that all for you. A quick update now on kind of where phase we're in. So we finished phase 1. That was the initial implementation of the companion module. And we're starting to go into phase 2, which is offer finer control over all ATEM functions, which is the purpose of this release. And then phase 3 will be adding feedback to Companion so that Companion knows what kind of settings have been set within the mixer. And I can reflect that within the Companion interface on your Stream Deck. And phase 4 will be further refinement of the module and the OSC kind of integration with MixEffect. And so that's it. All the new features in MixEffect 1.2.3, the OSC Action Parade. I hope you'd enjoy this video. I'm very close to 4,000 watch hours, which means I'll be able to monetize this YouTube channel. So if you like what you see, click the subscribe button down below and the like button, and we will see you in the next video of MixEffect. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.